Well, it's not all lies.
All of it.
There's some lies.
I found that too.
Lost civilization in Grand Canyon was, wait, Egyptian?
How much of history is actually true? We have always believed that Christopher Columbus was the first explorer to reach the American continent in 1492. But what if we told you that there are some mind-blowing discoveries that debunk what we've always thought was true? There's a fascinating theory that the ancient Egyptians might have actually beaten Columbus to it. And well, it gets even crazier. It's backed by some remarkable evidence. What are the shocking secrets that lie in the hidden regions of the Grand Canyon? How do they impact our belief about the earlier generations? Brace yourself for the captivating story that reveals what just emerged at the Grand Canyon that terrifies scientists and might shake up everything we thought we knew about history.
It's like bait back in the day.
Look at this. Even more amazing, the artifact didn't match up to anything on the known record. Rather than appearing to be of Native American origin, as one might expect, the object had distinct Egyptian or Tibetan designs.
Having ancient Egyptians in the Grand Canyon is a concept that might sound outrageous, but hold on to your hats as we uncover this story together. The shocking claim is tied to a discovery involving Joe Rogan, a well-known podcaster, and his guest. This scrutiny began when a paper that hinted at the presence of Egyptians in Ohio surfaced on the internet. The evidence gathered in this report suggests a surprising possibility and debunks a fact as old as we can remember. Joe Rogan, on his show, brought in Hotep Jesus to talk about certain findings from the Smithsonian. The Smithsonian dropped some info in 1909 that points to the fact that the ancient Egyptians somehow made their way to the Grand Canyon in North America.
Primary source from somebody that traveled with Cristobal Colon, aka Christopher Columbus. And he was saying very specific things about his accounts when he reached these different places.
This article seems to be the source of the buzz around the recent discoveries made in the region. It's fascinating how the artifacts found in the area, instead of resembling something Native American, bore distinct Egyptian or Tibetan designs. Deep within the esteemed Smithsonian Institute in Washington, D.C., fragments of this forgotten past are displayed. Among them are artifacts from King Kincaid's cave and the mysterious Egyptian hands from Powell's cave. They serve as shreds of evidence of a history much deeper and richer than we ever imagined. But what is the story behind the discoveries? How were these relics found in the Grand Canyon in the first place? Well, a team of explorers set out into the bumpy terrains of the Grand Canyon to confirm the claims from the published article, and their excitement was unmistakable. Though they set out to make grand discoveries, they were yet to know that this expedition would unfold into an extraordinary journey through time and across continents. Gradually, they unearthed the mysteries hidden within the canyon's ancient land. Years of planning and research led them to peculiar geological formations that hinted at concealed chambers in the canyon. The explorers meticulously excavated with their advanced technology. Fueled by an insatiable curiosity, they carefully peeled away layers of sediment. Days turned into weeks as they carefully revealed the dormant secrets of the Grand Canyon. And then, they found a hidden entrance, long concealed by time, emerging before their eyes. Expecting the worst, these excited explorers ventured into the unknown chamber, their lamps casting strange shadows on the walls that held ancient secrets. They realized that the chamber they discovered was filled with artifacts that hinted at an unexpected connection between the Grand Canyon and ancient Egypt.
Well, it's not all lies.
All of it.
There's some lies.
I found that too.
Lost civilization in Grand Canyon was, wait, Egyptian?
Among these relics was a remarkably preserved pottery, adorned with intricate patterns and symbols similar to ancient Egyptian craftsmanship. The team, realizing the significance of their discovery, handled these artifacts with care. They were mesmerized by the etchings on the walls. There were scenes of pharaohs, rituals, and mythical creatures meticulously carved on the old walls, and these artworks that uncovered the history of the Grand Canyon transported them to the banks of the Nile. Linguists and Egyptologists were then invited to the scene, and they painstakingly decoded the cryptic messages left behind by this ancient civilization. A breathtaking story of exploration, adventure, and cultural exchange unfolded as they pieced together the narrative hidden within the depths. What did these discoveries expose about ancient human history? How does it affect what we identify as truth? We'll reveal it all, one after the other. The inscriptions told a tale of Egyptians who dared to navigate the vast ocean in a quest for knowledge. They were guided by the stars, and they defied all conventions, leaving a lasting mark on the Americas. Beyond these inscriptions, other evidences were recovered during the excavation. They found a series of interconnected tombs hidden within the cracks of the canyon. These tombs held the remains of unidentified ancient Egyptians and their cherished belongings. Archaeologists and forensic experts were brought in to study the tombs, and they confirmed they couldn't be owned by anyone but the Egyptian nobles. The richly decorated sarcophagi displayed a deep respect for the afterlife, while intriguing artifacts like amulets, jewelry, and fragments of papyrus scrolls offered glimpses into the daily lives and beliefs of these far-from-home individuals. The Grand Canyon beautifully held the secret of a distant land in the heart of Arizona. They even recovered scrolls, which showed the intricate details about how the ambitious Egyptians were driven by curiosity and a thirst for adventure.
It's like you're piecing things together based on artifacts and historical record, things that people wrote down, and journals and logs. And
they sailed on treacherous waves to explore lands beyond the horizon. Their journey eventually led them to the Grand Canyon, where they found solace and possibly a new beginning. But how did they manage to survive the woes of the sea, navigate the unknown territories, and emerge safely? Nobody has been able to crack that. While the answer remains a mystery, their journey has undoubtedly left an unforgettable mark on both ancient Egypt and the civilizations of the Americas. Now, the realization that ancient Egyptians stayed in the Grand Canyon challenges our beliefs about ancient civilization. It hints at the possibility of a vast global network existing in those times. But those are things we will never really confirm. However, as the explorers in the Great Canyon continued to uncover artifacts and inscriptions, their excitement grew. They wondered if they'd only scratched the surface, and if there was more to the interconnectedness between the ancient civilizations. The ancient Egyptians, famous for their incredible pyramids and rich culture, have now become a part of the intricate story of the Americas. This discovery completely transformed how we see our shared history. Their groundbreaking findings excited scientists and fueled curiosity, inspiring explorers and researchers to seek more revelations in unexplored territories. The Grand Canyon, which was once viewed as a geological marvel, also suddenly became a door to an ancient world of secrets. At the end of the expedition, the explorers were full of wonder and respect. Who wouldn't be? They stood at the brink of a discovery that would shift our entire understanding of human civilization. The impact of these discoveries slowly seeped into people's minds, and when it was fully registered, they started asking questions. How did the Egyptians influence the development of indigenous civilizations? What knowledge did they share? These questions shed light on the depth of the cultural exchange that has happened over centuries. Surprisingly, there's an off-limits section in the Grand Canyon that supposedly harbors all the ancient artifacts hinting at an Egyptian presence. It's a mysterious space, with restricted airspace above and dangerous terrain below, making it a forbidden and perilous area to explore. Reputable institutions like the Smithsonian have reports on the region, but these reports have been censored or retracted, adding to the mystery and conspiracy surrounding the hidden location. Despite the risks involved in exploring these closed-off sections, brave people have persisted in the past. While some lost their lives trying to reach the dangerous area, a few people made it there and got out alive. One such mysterious spot is Kincaid's Cave, an underground jungle bursting with perplexing secrets. The cave is named after G.E. Kincaid, its first explorer. Kincaid used to be a Marine and then turned archaeologist for S.A. Jordan. He and his team embarked on a daring expedition into this cavern under the protection of the Smithsonian Institute. They were sent out to confirm things reported by John Wesley Powell.
He said clearly a man-made cave.
Yeah.
He walked in there and immediately was like, what am I looking at? Because it looked like there was hieroglyphics all on the walls.
They were full of awe as they ventured into this strange cave. The artificial cavern, estimated to be around 3,000 years old, has a network of tunnels leading to huge chambers like the ones in ancient Egypt. It's an underground city, proof of a forgotten era when the underground world flourished. This cave used to stand a whopping 400 feet above the majestic Colorado River. However, nature's relentless forces have worked their magic, gradually wearing down the landscape. Over time, the river has carved its way about 300 feet lower. The bedrock that holds these archaeological wonders has been reshaped by the steady passage of time. Incredibly, an artifact made of pure gold was among the treasures found in Kincaid's cave. This artifact holds the lotus flower native to Egypt, and it has been found to belong to the Egyptian king Khayen. The incredible find was discovered in the cave's first cross tunnel, similar to shrines found in Egypt's iconic Valley of the Kings. Could it be a descendant of King Zaphnath, possibly Joseph from biblical folklore, leaving a mark in the Grand Canyon's sacred chambers? These astonishing recoveries continue to provide more insight into the situation. Deeper within the interconnected tunnel city, they found another artifact, a golden tablet. This one is like a history book, talking about King Zaphnath's arrival in Aslan and details about his descendant, King Khayen's journey to the Grand Canyon. But who knows what else was discovered but never documented or photographed? Countless artifacts vanished, slipping away from the grasp of photographers and documentarians. Their stories and secrets remain untold, waiting for someone bold enough to uncover their hidden truths. To learn more about the hidden regions in the Grand Canyon, we must go back to the time of John Wesley Powell, who partnered with native explorer Jacob Vernon Hamblin to go on an expedition in the area. He was the first American to explore the Grand Canyon like this. Alongside his partner, he set the stage for later expeditions into the fascinating place. About 12,000 years ago, explorers roamed the Grand Canyon for the first time, leaving traces of their presence. By the 16th century, Spanish adventurers ventured through the route as well, leaving stories of their encounters with the wonder in the area. But in the mid-19th century, John Wesley Powell, a daring Civil War veteran, emerged as the true pioneer to explore the Grand Canyon. His audacious expedition down the Colorado River left an unforgettable mark in history. John Wesley Powell was an explorer and archaeologist working for the U.S. Department of the Interior, and he held the director position at the Smithsonian Institution's Bureau of Ethnology. In 1869, he embarked on this groundbreaking journey down the Green River, aiming to explore the Grand Canyon. His expedition marked the first instance of reporting archaeological findings to the U.S. government regarding the canyon's native communities and their history. Powell's account of the area turned the Grand Canyon into a national icon, drawing millions of visitors each year. People from all over the world gather at its height, awed by its sheer size and kaleidoscope of colors. Today, over a dozen Native American tribes call the canyon their home or live nearby. But the lives they live are quite different from their ancestors, based on the reports from Powell and other explorers. Take Havasupai, for instance. The U.S. government confined them to a small reservation at the canyon's base in 1882. Instead of their traditional seasonal migrations in search of game, they were stuck within the canyon's walls all year round. Accompanied by his partner, Powell embarked on this daring journey that reshaped our understanding of the canyon's past. He became a respected figure in American exploration and a trailblazer for the U.S. Department of the Interior. He also directed the illustrious Bureau of Ethnology at the Smithsonian Institution in 1869. Guided by the mighty Green River, Powell ventured into the heart of the Grand Canyon. During this memorable expedition, he stumbled upon a cave, now called Powell's Cave. Naming the cave after himself, Powell now has his name etched in the annals of discovery. As he continued to navigate the rugged terrain, he found a stunning sight where Egyptian hieroglyphics adorned the cliff walls near the cave. Fascinated by the weight of discovery, Powell wrote in his book about the numerous man-made caves in the canyon. He vividly described his hike down a gorge, following a cliff's edge with worn trails etched into the rock formation. He continued to explore the cave with his partner, discovering a shrine and various artifacts. Powell promptly notified the Smithsonian Institute of their findings. Further explorations in the area led Powell to estimate that at one time, upwards of 50,000 Egyptians might have inhabited the Grand Canyon.
So they went out there and it was basically an underground city. And they said that
my
at
gosh.
one point in time, it would have housed like 50,000 people.
What?
He and Hamblin uncovered a shrine in Powell's cave dedicated to Smenkakari, who, historically, was King Akhenaten's son. The hieroglyphics found in these caves revealed the arrival of ancient Egyptians in the Grand Canyon, bringing their writing system with them. They even discovered a school tablet used for teaching Egyptian children to read and write. Powell also stumbled upon crypts, one of which was opened to check for mummies. As earlier mentioned, the Grand Canyon's tombs bear names that sounded like Egyptian pharaohs, hinting at an ancient pyramid complex. A more intriguing fact is that these sites align with the same stars as the Giza pyramids. That definitely cannot be a coincidence. We can even reiterate back to when Joe Rogan's guest, Hotep Jesus, was discussing the Egyptian connections and mentioned findings from a paper speculating about the presence of Egyptians in Ohio. The abundance of sand in the Grand Canyon played a vital role in Egyptians building there, as sandblasting was crucial for ancient Egyptian builders. Without sandblasting, moving massive stone slabs for their structures would have been impossible. Researchers have long been curious about how the Egyptians managed to move such huge stones. However, recent studies suggest that dragging these stones across wet sand could have been the method. Dr. Daniel Bonet and his team once conducted experiments based on a wall painting found in Jehuti-Hotep's tomb. The painting showed a person standing in front of an Egyptian sled and wetting the sand, serving as backup for their initial claim. Their experiments with sleds on trays of sand also confirmed that wet sand reduced the force required to move the sled. The right amount of water acted as a binding agent and changed the sand's properties. This discovery provided insights into the reduced force needed for stone transportation, potentially cutting the number of workers required.
Figure out what was going on. I think the story's going to go back further and further into the past.
Is there any evidence of wood structures? Like, did they make buildings out of wood back then?
While some argue that Egyptians used desert clay as a lubricant, Dr. Bonnet's findings concluded that water was the primary lubricant. However, Dr. Mark Lehner, the director of Ancient Egypt's Research Associates, also unearthed fascinating discoveries beneath multi-ton blocks in ancient structures, and his conclusions are different. He noted that these blocks were either placed on a temple wall, a tomb, or left midway to their intended construction spots. According to Lehner, he'd seen blocks frozen in such moments on the sand. To achieve a precise fit between blocks, he said builders used thin layers of whitish-pink gypsum mortar, finer than even telfa, a type of desert clay. Dr. Lehner witnessed this firsthand while working on the WGBH NOVA program, where they experimented with a hauling track made of wood beams, sand, limestone debris, and coated with telfa. They pulled a 2-ton limestone block on a wooden sled, spraying water in front of its runners, making the clay a lubricant. Dr. Lehner acknowledges that while telfa was used for shorter, more precise movements and adjustments, gypsum mortar, even finer than telfa, was employed for the most exact adjustments, like setting the outer casing stones. So, whether Egyptians used water or desert clay as their lubricant, the Egyptians have the sand needed to aid their building. Shifting the focus back to the Grand Canyon, recent discoveries have updated the ages of significant rock layers, reshaping the canyon's geological history. Researchers have now started debating the canyon's age and pondering its future amidst the challenges posed by climate change. The fascinating beauty draws tourists who marvel at the spectacle of the Colorado River carving through layers of rock, revealing a stunning array of colors. The canyon's geological history dates back almost 2 billion years ago, where the collision of Earth's crustal plates formed volcanic islands that merged under extreme conditions. However, a significant gap existed in the geological narrative between 1.75 billion and 1.25 billion years ago due to erosion. About 1.25 billion to 730 million years ago, the story resumed again, with the formation of new rock layers known as the Grand Canyon Supergroup. Sediments formed layers at the bottom of the sea, showing the canyon's earliest life. Further ahead, the discovery of the 508-million-year-old 60-mile formation within the Grand Canyon Supergroup would reshape existing notions about its formation, leading to a better understanding of its geological evolution. The upper two-thirds of the canyon's walls are made of shimmering limestone, shales, and sandstones, ranging from 508 million to 270 million years old. These layers represent different geological periods, with the cream-colored Kaibab limestone sitting atop everything at the canyon's peak, relatively young at 270 million years old. These layers of rock hold within them a grand geological history, each revealing a unique chapter in the canyon's story. Then, around 6 million years ago, the Colorado River came into play, rushing off the plateau, cutting through the land, and carving the canyon. Over time, smaller rivers chiseled out the side canyons, mesas, and buttes we gaze at today. But not all geologists are on the same page regarding this story's timing. Some say the canyon might just be as ancient as 70 million years, judging by certain rock minerals exposed in parts of it. The only fact they agreed on was that despite the older segments found in the canyon, the river system as a whole didn't connect and flow until around 6 million years ago. Moving on, there's another strange discovery that shocked scientists. Fossil footprints in the Grand Canyon aren't a rarity, but a geology professor, Alan Krill, stumbled upon this particularly extraordinary find. He found fossil footprints that dated to a whopping 313 million years ago, making them the oldest vertebrate fossil tracks in the park. Krill spotted these tracks on a boulder during a stroll with students in the canyon. He shared a snapshot of the prints with paleontologist Stephen Rowland, who was utterly intrigued by the historic find. The fossil footprints are preserved on a large sandstone boulder that fell from a cliff near the Bright Angel Trail. It contains several trackways of different sizes and shapes, indicating that more than one individual was involved. The researchers who studied the tracks used 3D models and photogrammetry to analyze them in detail before drawing conclusions. These footprints belong to two animals trekking across a sand dune, according to the conclusion from researchers. However, the ancient track on the sand dune revealed a walking pattern that scientists hadn't known about. They call it the lateral sequence walk, a gait where the rear and front legs on one side move together, followed by the legs on the opposite side, a pattern now seen in some present-day animals like dogs and cats. The group of animals that owned these footprints are called amniotes. They are the ancestors of reptiles, birds, and mammals. This discovery also confirms that the Grand Canyon was once a coastal dune environment, where the ancient animals left their marks on the wet sand. Scientists have also cracked the science behind our mind-blowing fascination with the Grand Canyon. Lonnie Shioda, a social psychology professor, once delved into the emotion of awe. She unraveled some intriguing mysteries behind it, hinting that this feeling might be unique to just humans, based on our ability to mentally represent things and people in our world. This is naturally a crucial part of how we survive. Still, not everyone feels awe at the Grand Canyon. Some of these people are already used to that kind of view, or may not want to admit they're witnessing something new. For those who do experience awe, scientists have shown that it's more than just a mental phenomenon. It affects your body, too. All the explorers who reported the signs of Egyptians living in the canyon always added the element of wonder, explaining how the intricate details they found mesmerized them. This made research into the social aspect of the Grand Canyon necessary as well. For scientists to delve into both the technical and social impacts of the Grand Canyon shows how much it influences the lives of people who have been there. While some parts of the canyon may still be hidden from the public or may be inaccessible, we already know enough to question the historical timeline we were fed. Thanks for watching. Make sure to check out other videos from the channel before you leave. What do you think of the Grand Canyon? Share your thoughts in the comments section.